Hello Medic Mains-to-be, I'm Ian, and this is my TF2 How to Killstreak series, where I show you how to get a killstreak with the best and worst weapons this game has to offer, because everything is a bad idea until it works. Today we will be covering the Crusader's Crossbow. Be sure to comment what weapons you want to see me cover in the future, and be sure to like the video if you do. Now without further ado, let's get into this. We shall start with the history and stats in order to make sure we are all working off the same page before we go into how to get a killstreak proper. Ahem. The Crusader's Crossbow was added to the game back in the Australian Christmas update in 2010 as part of the Medieval Medic set, alongside several other weapons that have yet to be covered, such as the Brass Beast, Candy Cane, and Fist of Steel, to name a few. If you wish to acquire this item for yourself, however, you will have to either pray to RNGesus for a random drop, craft one using 2 scrap metal and a huntsman, trade, use a war paint like I did, or if you feel like gambling, you can use a key on certain crates for certain qualities. Crate 11 has a chance to give it in unique quality, 26 has a chance to give it to you in strange, and 78 will have a chance of giving it to you in festive. As for what it actually does, that's quite simple. It fires a syringe that hurts foes and heals teammates depending on which one it hits. And unlike your medigun, this thing can tell the difference between a disguised spy and your actual teammates, meaning this thing is great for spy checking. Just bear in mind that the bolts can be reflected by a pyro's air blast, so if you see a pyro, shoot at them anyway. After all, while this thing can technically be air blasted, it's kind of like the huntsman. Yeah, you can technically air blast it, but the timing is so tricky that most people will just opt to dodge instead. And frankly, if they're smart enough to air blast in the first place, trying to kill them with melee is a lost cause. However, ideally, your teammates should be distracting your enemies, and since your attacks help your team regardless of who they hit, aim is less of an issue than with other weapons in the game, since you're effectively dealing 38 to 75 damage, or healing 75 to 150 health, depending on who you hit, making this the perfect weapon to use for whenever a control point becomes a human meat grinder, since regardless of who you're hitting in that mosh pit of death, you're going to be helping. I particularly recommend trying this out on the group keep, since the last point inevitably has a large number of people trying to melee kill each other due to the very nature of medieval mode. That's right, this thing can be used on medieval mode, making it one of the few ranged weapons available for those who play that map, something you see surprisingly infrequently in the game mode. The syringes you fire from this thing will even build up uber when they heal allies. Not as much as the miniguns will, but still, something to bear in mind. With the basics now covered, let's move on to how to get a killstreak proper. Getting kills with this weapon is as simple as learning how to aim projectiles, so remember, unlike bullets, your syringes, or candy canes if you're using a festive, have a travel time, so you're gonna want to try to lead your shots a bit. For those of you who have no idea what that means that you're gonna want to shoot where the enemy's going to be, not where they currently are. Also remember that the syringes you shoot with this thing arc ever so slightly, meaning when firing at long distance, you're gonna want to aim slightly above where you intend for the syringe to land its mark. And the syringes fired from this thing actually heal more than a medigun in short bursts, meaning in the heat of combat this might actually be the preferable way of healing someone if you're not trying to build uber, which you're going to want to do at some point because keeping your teammates alive is a little more important than going for the kill. After all, you're a medic, so in a 1v1, all things fair, you're probably going to lose that fight 9 times out of 10. So keep things as unfair as possible by making sure that the fight is not 1v1, but 1v5 in your favor. I recommend the Solemn Vow for you battle medics out there, since it lets you see opponents' health, meaning you can easily tell who you can pick off with one clean shot, and who's at full health and you should probably run away from. As for when to use the crossbow over the minigun to heal, the answer is simple. There are 2 situations when using a crossbow over the minigun to heal makes perfect sense. The first is for when the patient in question you wish to heal is outside of your minigun's effective range. After all, while the minigun can't heal people from across the map, the crossbow can if your aim is good. It can even heal when your aim is bad, assuming RNGesus blesses you that day. The second scenario is when overhealing isn't a factor. Don't get me wrong, overhealing is powerful. Being able to make someone's health total much larger than it normally would be for a short period of time can be a game changer. However, if you're in the middle of a team fight and you see someone at like 25 health and on fire, yeah, your minigun's not gonna save them, but the crossbow might. Assuming you don't have the aim of a stormtrooper, that is. Now I hear what some of you are saying. But Ian, I want to go on a kill streak, not help my team. And to those of you, I laugh. Why? Because you're the medic, i.e. the #1 priority target to kill in any serious game. However, if you prioritize keeping your teammates alive, you yourself will rarely die. After all, anyone with half a functional brain cell is smart enough to realize that staying near the team's healer is a good idea, meaning as long as you prioritize keeping your teammates' health topped off, you will always have plenty of meat shields to keep you safe from the enemy team, allowing you to pick off foes at your leisure. After all, when a teamfight breaks out, you'll ideally be spamming your crossbow into the mosh pit that used to be the control point, not in the center of it, unless of course you have Uber. And don't forget about the Uber charge your miniguns give. While the effects vary from version to version, once you activate your Uber, the effects are all the same. You and whoever you're healing become a lot harder to kill. The stock minigun has the most powerful Uber charge effect, granting you invincibility alongside your patient for a short period of time. This is the perfect weapon for when you want to pop it, don't drop it. After all, you'll lose your Uber charge when you die regardless, so it's better to use it to get out of death than to just lose it and die. In pubs, however, the quick fix is a viable alternative. While the Uber charge is much weaker, instead of granting immunity to all damage, it simply gives you immunity to stuns and damage forces such as Air Blast, while also increasing your healing rate by a ×3 multiplier. The quick fix also charges faster, heals faster, and allows you to follow your rocket jumping soldiers to the ceiling when they rocket jump up. The Vaccinator is also great for when you're dealing with bots, since it lets you pick and choose between a resistance to fire, explosives, or bullets, allowing you to get a strong edge over anyone on the enemy team as long as they're all using the same damage type. What's that? Everyone went heavy and is camping the cart? Bullet resistance. Blitzkrieg medic pocketing a demo and/or soldier? Explosive resistance. Pyro just ruining your day? Fire resistance. Spies and/or demo knights getting melee kills on you? Tough luck! The only medigun I don't recommend for this is the Kritzkrieg. Yes, it's great if you're pocketing someone who's doing well at the game and you want to boost them up on the ladder boards, but if you want to get a kill streak yourself, it's not going to help you whatsoever. The most advice I can give with this thing is that the taunt heals you. If you're serious about building Uber, I recommend the Uber sauce, since you only need to hit someone 4 times with this thing to get full Uber. And if you're healing someone on your team effectively, you'll probably only need to hit them once or twice. However, those of you who are fans of Array 7 or Medieval mode will want to switch off of this as much as possible. After all true Array 7 fans use the Bone Saw or some variant reskin of it, and you can't use your Uber charge whatsoever in Medieval mode, so yeah, if you're trying to go hardcore with crossbow kills, go to the Medieval mode servers, because no one will complain about you not using the minigun to heal them constantly. After all, on the Groot Keep, players drop health kits on death, so the role of healer isn't as big a deal. Just don't go correcting people when that crossbow bolt you meant to kill the enemy team with accidentally heals someone instead, saving their life. After all, if you're not saying anything, is it really a lie? Just remember, in spite of the fact that your health regenerates over time, that doesn't mean you should not pick up health kits when you see them. If you're having trouble finding ways to heal, and the Uber Saw isn't helping you get Uber charge whatsoever, consider switching to the Amputator, since it increases your health regeneration when deployed, making it, in my opinion, the most underrated weapon the medic has. All in all, I give the crossbow the meta out of 10. That's what this thing is. You will pretty much never see a competent medic use any other weapon unless they're going full battle medic with the Blutsauger. Or memeing. Regardless, that's all for now. Like the video if you did, comment what weapons you want to see me cover in the future, subscribe if you don't want to miss the next one. I've been an Ian, and this has been my TF2 How to Kill Streak Guide to the Crusader's Crossbow. And stay tuned, the Righteous Bison is coming up next.